so shiny. Oh. Yes. Whoa. Oh, jump promo.
What's that ominous glow in the distance?
Hi guys, Freaky Fish Guy here. Something a little bit different. It's not water. Burning Abyss. I love this deck. It's probably one of my favourite legacy decks that isn't water. If you know me, you know I love water decks, but this is something close to my heart. I've had BA about 3 times now already in the past. This is my third lot of BA. I've sold them, got them, sold them, got them. Annoyingly, I'm missing one key card that I really like for this deck, certain rarity. It might be something to do with Dante. But yeah, I just love this deck. BA in the current format is weird. This deck is now 6 years old, but it's still good. I say good, it's like rogue at best at the moment, but it's still good for 6 years. That's amazing. People are still topping with this in today's format, and as such, I've actually just rebuilt it, and this is probably my main deck at the moment. I know I'm meant to be doing my Year of the Water, but there's no events. It's not as if I'm going to events anyway. So this is my main deck that I've got steved up and I'm playtesting with, and I'm playing online just because I love it. It's got that sort of old style deck that I really like with the control style and the traps. Also a bit of RNG to make things a little bit different. Because of this RNG, this deck's actually really rewarding to play. First things first, standard lineup for the BA. We've got 3 Farfa and 3 Skarm. These are the only BAs you really actually max out on in this build. Farfa, as you know, is just banish to the end phase. Skarm is in the end phase Skarm search. Always remember your Skarm searches. I always forget them, I'm not going to lie. Farfa is probably the best removal in the deck. That's immediate. Then we've got a bunch of one-offs. We've got 1 Graph, 1 Seer, still limited. 1 Barbar, my favourite BA. Shout out to Louis, who barbared him for game twice in the same game. In the same match, sorry. 1 Libic, 1 Calcab, and 1 Alec. These are pretty much your BAs. You don't really want to max out on any of these, apart from if you're playing a combo variant, you might max out on a Libic. So for those who don't know, BAs have all the same effect. If there's a non-BA on the board and these are face up on the board, they will just implode immediately and they die. This is just because they're a very xenophobic deck and they just don't like to see other things that aren't BA. And then if they are sent to the graveyard, they have another effect. So Farfa is target 1 monster on the field banished to the end phase. Skarm is the end phase search for level 3 Fiend. Graph is summon a BA from deck. Seer is summon BA from grave. Barbar is banish up to 3 BA from your grave. Burn your opponent for 300 for each. Ideally, basically want to burn for 900 for game. Calcab is bounce a set card. Alec is your sort of effect veiler, but this is on a new chain, remember, so you can't just go they activate a monster effect, you chain like Beatrice to send it, send this. This will resolve on a new chain, so it's a little bit difficult to get to work. And then finally 1 Libic, which is just specially BA from hand, but has effects negated, meaning it won't blow up, which is nice. These are their primary effects. The second effect they already have is you can just special summon them from your hand for free if you control no spell or trap cards. That includes field spells, just for the record. To go along with our BA monsters, we are running 2 Tour Guide. It is at 2 on the ban list right now. This is probably the best normal summon in the deck. On summon, special a level 3 Fiend from your deck. So either like a BA. I like to go, if I have a BA in hand, I like to go for Farfa, because then I can just make the Beatrice. Obviously make Dante, then Beatrice, but you still have the Farfa underneath, so you can send something different other than Farfa with a Beatrice. The only annoying thing with this card, guys, if it gets impermed or effect veiled or ashed or anything, your turn is probably over with the BAs, because obviously you now can't special BAs because they will just blow up. So it is sort of a risk reward scenario. Also, you can search this as well in the end phase with Skarm, which is your go-to. To go along with the 2 Tour Guide, we have 3 Phoenix Rhino Warrior. This is probably the second best normal summon in this deck. If this is on board, your BAs won't blow up via their own effects, because Fiends can't be destroyed by card effects while this is on the board. So you can normal summon this and then special BA, the BA won't blow up, and then you make your Dante from there, or you can make your Cherubini. When this is sent to graveyard once per turn, you can send another Fiend from deck to grave. Really good, you've got loads of targets. This is just any BA you want immediately to send. You mill us off Dante, okay, I need a Graph, so you just mill a Graph as well. Really nice effect. Another card you can send off this is 2 King Batjack. So when this hits the grave, you can scope the top 3 cards of your deck and then stack them in any order you like. Your opponent's turn, you can banish it from your grave, mill the top card of the deck. If there's a trap, normal trap, you can set it to your field and use it that turn. So it's basically a 6th trap card that you need. Or, if you want to, you can stack your deck, maybe put like a Farfa on top, on a key combo bit. You can banish from your grave, mill the Farfa, and then banish a card from their field. So this works just with anything in your deck. If you need to mill anything on quick effect, you can stack it and then mill it immediately. The only problem with this is when I mill this and Scarm, because then obviously you scope the top of your deck, but then in the end phase you Scarm search, so it's like, okay, I don't know what I'm getting anymore. So I always like to wait for them to normal summon and then banish this. I don't just do it in the draw phase, set another trap, if I have like an imperm set already, that is. Because then I could like dump a Farfar and then banish their normal summon, which against Salaman Great is a really good stop to their play. Finally guys, one last monster I'm playing. One Gizmek Orochi. So a lot of builds of this deck aren't running this, so Dinka's build wasn't running this. I like to shove it in just as a more aggro piece. So BA are very good at grind game. We just do grind game extremely well, but we don't really have a lot of aggro other than like the Cherubini Borosword route. So instead I'm just running a Gizmek. You can dump this off the Beatrice, you can mill this off Dante, you can send it off Foolish Burial. If you get lucky you can like mill it off this if you need to. But this just puts a clock on your opponent, because this will just keep coming out the grave and just punching your opponent in the face. Also, it just makes Borosword extremely good as an extender and a beatdown, as well as removal. So sometimes I'll like in the end phase Beatrice send this and then summon this out, and then in my turn I can start popping cards. Last monster, 3 Ash Blossom, just generic hand trap. This could be anything you like. Any hand trap but Shifter, I suggest, is a good hand trap spot. The only problem with this deck at the moment is it's a graveyard deck, and if you're playing a rank 4 deck, you are spamming out Abyss Dweller incredibly quickly. So things like Rocks and Salaman Great, they just end on a Abyss Dweller because they've got nothing else to go into. That hurts us. So this could be maybe just something to stop that, maybe a Nibiru, maybe a Forbidden Chalice. We're already playing Imperms, but something just to stop an Abyss Dweller. Single spell card. We're playing one Foolish Burial. We're not playing any Pot of Desires. You could play Pot of Desires, but I'm not. Just because I want that grind game, and plus I'm playing the Gizmek. So we're just playing the one Foolish Burial, just send any combo piece you need. And then trap cards. 3 Fiend Griefing. This is an incredibly good card for this deck. It is a removal for their graveyard and a setup Foolish Burial for our deck. For those who don't know, target one monster in opponent's grave, shuffle it into the deck, then send one Fiend from deck to grave. So you can send a Scarm, you can send a Graf, you can send a King Backjack. Lots of utility with this card, as well as just shuffling away a key combo piece. So again, Salaman Great, they put the Jack Jagger in grave, you can just spin that back to the deck. Invoke, you can snipe this on the invocation and send the Alistair back to the deck. There's lots of things you can do with this card. Even a Golden Lord. Next. 3 Paleozoic Dynamiscus. The whole point of Trap BA is to get utility out of the trap cards you're using. You want extra value out of our trap cards. Dynamiscus is a really good card because it discards, not for cost as well, discards a card from our grave which can be a BA, which then trigger the BA. So you can do a 2 for 1, you can use this, discard Farfar, now you're banishing 2 cards off their board. This is also our main spell and trap removal, annoyingly, in this deck, in the main deck. So if they play Mystic Mine, this is your I want to get rid of Mystic Mine card. Also, it does trigger in grave, so if you activate another trap card, it will special summon from the grave, and then you've got another extender to make your Borosword or anything like that you need to. Maybe Nightmare Phoenix is what I go into immediately. 3 Lost Wind. These 2 cards are obviously the grave effect, so if you mill them with Dante, it is not the end of the world. The only problem, again, with this deck is if you mill all your spells and traps, you're not really getting any value out of them. So it is a bit of an old school style deck. It's not the best deck, but it's definitely a fun one. Lost Wind, just imperm for a special summon monster. If they special summon a monster from the extra deck while it's in the grave, you can reset it. So if you mill it off Dante, the special summon monster from the extra deck, you get to reset it and you get a bit of value out of it. Also halves your tap permanently, and the effect negation is permanent as well. 3 imperm, just it's a trap card and it's a hand trap. There's nothing really wrong with imperm. You can set off trap trick if you need to. Always play around the imperm columns. In the main deck, 3 evenly matched. We are maining 3 evenly matched just because we don't have anything going second. We don't have like a blowout way of going second. Like an Emancipator can just like put out so many resources going second that it could probably just overwhelm the opponent. Eldritch has the Golden Lord, he can start taking apart pieces. We don't really have a lot. We only have the trap cards and maybe a few of the toolboxing BA effects. Shoving an evenly matched just to make things a bit fairer if it manages to resolve. And then finally, 2 Trap Trick, 1 Imperial Order. 2 Trap Trick because again I don't own 3, and also I don't really want to run 3. Just because if you open 2 it's kind of a brick. And 1 Imperial Order just because we don't care about spell cards activating or resolving, because we would play 1 and this is still a good card. That was the main deck. It is 42 cards just because I wanted to shove the trap tricks in there. If you want to bring it down to 40, you can. I'll be very interested to hear your suggestions and comments below. Now on to the extra deck. We're playing one Cherubini, just because this is our go-to link. This, plus a BA in hand, is just an OTK, because you can just turbo up Borosword. That's the good thing I like about this deck as well. It can just either go first, set traps, or, okay, we need to go second, we're going to turbo up Borosword and try to punch our opponent in the face. This sends from deck to grave for cost, so if they're trying to Effect Veiler or Imperm you, it's too late. All they're going to do is then miss the attack boost, which, we're not going to lie, we don't really care about the attack boost. So yeah, Cherubini, any two level 3 fiends, level 3 monsters. So in the combo build, there's another thing that's really cool. I did test earlier. You can actually play the plant engine to cert instant fusion, which will then summon Winder, and anything this card points to cannot be destroyed by card effects. So you can make this plus a Winder lock just out of the plant combo. So Scorpio plus Cobra, search, instant fusion, and your turn one board can be this plus Winder, and maybe set a few traps. I didn't really like that because I found the plant engine too bricky, and if you mill the plant engine, there's no point in playing it. So we took that bit out. Link 1, Link Kurubo and a Gravity Controller. Link Kurubo just for when you draw the King Batjack, because unless you're going to discard it, it's actually alright. Sometimes if I draw the Batjack and I have like 3 traps in car and hand and like an Ash Blossom. Okay, when normal summon the Batjack, make Link Kurubo, skip top 3, maybe see a Scarm, then we can banish the Batjack to mill the Scarm, and then we can get our engine rolling from there. Jump promo, by the way. Gravity Controller is there for out to Avramax. The only problem with this deck is all its removal is either beatdown or targeting. And as such, we need something there to get rid of like, the Avramaxes. So you make a Dante in extra monster zone and link into that. One Nightmare Phoenix, just spot removal, as we all know. One Underclock Taker. This should be an IP. If you have an IP Masquerader, please play it over this. I will probably be trying to get one eventually, especially when events start up, just so I can play it instead of this, because IP plus Gizmek, we look at Orcust, it's really nice, especially with things like Dante and Seer. You can just make so many big boards out of nowhere. So yes, please play it in IP. There is a combo, check out Thomas Rose, because you can just end on a Beatrice plus this really simply. Instead it should be a Beatrice plus a Mask, and then obviously like I said, you can send a Gizmek, summon a Gizmek, and then you have 4 link materials on the board to make anything you like. It could be an Appaloosa, it can be a Trisbania, and then summon a Gizmek, and then banish your opponent's spells and traps. Destroy your opponent's spells and traps, sorry, but yeah, really nice card. Trisbania, this has actually won me a lot of games just because we can summon to a zone that points to on quick effect and then just blow up your opponent's back row, especially things like Altergeist now and Guru still, really good card. One Borosword, you can turbo into this from Cherubini. This plus like Beatrice or Gizmek, because again Gizmek can still keep coming back, is usually game. One Appaloosa, we can make this turn 1 if we just open all BA, and I usually end on this plus a Beatrice, because that's not bad. One Boroload, this could be anything you like. It could be an Avramax if you needed it to be. I'm just playing a Boroload because it's probably the only other link 4 that I have. You could also just play an access code talker, but like I said, I don't own one yet. This should be a better link 4, basically. Don't shame me, don't look. Common Dante's, like I said, I did have Max Road to BA, I sold it, then I rebought like Max-ish Road to BA, and then I sold that, and now I'm on this build of BA, which I'll never get rid of in my life, and I still need to pick up 2 Secret Rare BA. I was talking to my best friend, Henry, give me them right now, I need them. But yeah, we're just playing Common Dante. And Mr. Dodge's ban list, basically meal free for cost. I was playing this yesterday on Dueling Book, someone ghost mortared my tour guide, which isn't a legal play, so I pointed that out to him. Okay, so some of the Dante, they then go some more of this. Okay, it mills for cost. That's the only thing you really need to know. Mill up to 3 for cost, gains 500 for each, make it 2/5, and at the end of the battle phase, it goes to defense mode if it attacked. Really nice card. When it goes to grave as well, you can add a BA from grave to hand. So you basically loop Seer and Dante. Other rank 3s, 1 Break Sword just as a spot removal, 1 Livia. You can do fun things with this, so you can like far away a level 4 monster or Dynamiscus it away, make Livia and then summon to your board, either as an extender or maybe if it's a key card, like, what did I do once? I banished someone's, the rock dinosaur, the patchy, I can't remember what it's called, the one that basically means you can't special summon. You can summon this off of Livia, and then they can't special summon that monster. Special summon. So that was a quite cool lock I did on a rock player. 1 Beatrice, send any card from deck to grave. It's a Foolish Burial on a monster. Can't use this effect to turn it summoned on top of Dante. The way you summon it in this deck is you make a Dante, then discard BA and make it on top. This is really cool because it's just spot removal. Please bear in mind though that the thing you send will activate on a new chain if it's a BA, so you can't just go like I said before, they normal summon a monster new chain, they send Alec negate. No, it'll be on a new chain, so then monster will probably resolve. So instead, what I try and do is I try and set up a material underneath it, like a Farfa of the Tour Guide, send the Gizmek, and then the Farfa will still trigger. And like I said, if you just need to in the end phase, send the Gizmek just to have a little bit of OTK potential in the next one. Finally, Dante Pilgrim. Well, you know what he does. He's not as good as he used to be. If Beatrice is destroyed by card effect, you can special summon a Dante monster from your extra deck or graveyard. Summon a Dante Pilgrim. He can't be targeted. You can discard BA to draw a card, and then obviously the BA will trigger. Side deck, guys. Obviously, side deck can be anything you want it to be. This is just my example of a side deck. This is a little bit weird. I'm sort of looking a bit ahead in the future because obviously we've got Dragoon coming out in a month. We've got Numerons coming out in 2 weeks. So the next formats can be very different. Expect a new Paleo build to try and keep up with the Numerons, or maybe a Numeron Paleo build themselves. But anyway, for BA, three original Rock Boy, Sphere Mode, Giant Ball of Justice, as I like to call it. Tribute 3 monsters, normal summon at your opponent's board. It's a board wipe. We don't really need to normal summon. We can normal summon to this board, opponent's board, then special to BA, and then go off from like that. So this is probably the best removal for a board breaker that we have. Could it be Nib? Yes, but this actually is better than Nib in my opinion in this deck. 3 Dark Sacrifice. If a card will be destroyed on the field, you can activate this, negate, destroy, and then send a Fiend from deck to grave instead. Level 3 Fiend. Basically, it's another Fiend griefing. The only problem with this and Fiend griefing is they can be Ash Blossomed, just because they have the effect to send. So that's the only real key problem. But yeah, stops Lightning Storm, stops Twin Twisters, it stops anything that like destroys. So it's a good card. Can't really complain about it. Send Scum. 3 Phoenix Wind Wing Blast. This is a really old school card that BA used to play. It's basically Dynamiscus, except that it puts the card on the top of the deck. And you obviously discard for cost in this one. Another Mystic Mine out, just because Mystic Mine really hurts this deck. Also can out things like Floodgates. It can do funny things like if they link up all the way, like same with Compulse. In Paleo, you can just get rid of all that advantage they had with one card. It's non-destruction removal, same as Dynamiscus, so I really like it. So Ding can't protect against it, things like that. 3 Twin Twisters. Used to be Heavy Storm Duster, but just because so I could set off Trap Trick. But going second is more important. So pop 2 spells on trap, discard 1, 2. This is actually good because we get added value of the discard because we can obviously discard a BA monster. And then finally, 3 Book of Eclipse. This is something I'm going to be testing just because when Dragoon comes out, I need to out to Dragoon. And I could play Kaijus, and I probably will take out a few things for Kaiju, especially with the Numerons coming out, guys. But this is just there, just so we have something a little bit better. Yeah, this is your out Dragoon. You can also do it against like the rock board when they're setting up. If you just book a moon your opponent's entire rock board while they're still trying to play, it actually turns off their play. Again, this is Asher Ball, and yes, they get to draw a lot of cards in the end phase, but if you make a Brawl Sword and just kill them, it doesn't matter. So I'm just testing this just because it's actually not a bad thing. We're stealing Dino's Thunder. Anyway, guys, that was my Burning Abyss deck profile for July 2020. Feel free to comment below what you would change. Obviously, this is not the most competitive build, like I said before, but it is a good basis if you're learning BA where to move on from. Anyway, guys, thanks for watching. See you next time. Please like and subscribe. The lockdown is making me absolutely pull up my hair because I can't go to locals and do the content I really want to do, but I'm just trying to make do at the moment. Expect a lot more quality videos coming out soon when I actually start playing some in real life games, which I am absolutely gagging to do. But anyway, guys, see you next time. Goodbye.